Did you know some of the most famous films you've watched were born from books that were once deemed too dangerous, too controversial, or too provocative to read? From dystopian worlds to racial injustice, we'll count down the top 10 movies inspired by banned books. Throughout history, literature has been a powerful force for change, often causing waves that ruffled feathers. Some books were so controversial they got banned. But when you try to suppress something, you often only make it stronger. That's exactly what happened with these banned books that found their way onto the big screen. These stories prove that the pen and the camera can be mightier than censorship. Along the way, we'll uncover what made these books so dangerous and why their film adaptations made such a cultural impact. So, stick around for the last one. It's a horror story that'll leave you questioning if power really lies in words or in fear. At number 10, Carrie, 1976, Stephen King. Who knew that teenage angst could lead to such supernatural chaos? Carrie is based on Stephen King's 1974 novel, a story about a high school girl who's relentlessly bullied by her peers and emotionally abused by her religious fanatic mother. When she discovers she has telekinetic powers, things spiral into bloody revenge. The novel was banned in several U.S. schools due to its graphic content and profanity, but that didn't stop the 1976 film from becoming a horror classic. Directed by Brian De Palma and starring Sissy Spacek, Carrie explores the dangers of repression and social isolation. Whether you've read the book or seen the movie, you'll probably never look at a prom night the same way again. 9. American Psycho, 2000 as Bret Easton Ellis. Next on our list is American Psycho, a film that's as disturbing as it is satirical. Based on Bret Easton Ellis's 1991 novel, the story follows Patrick Bateman, a wealthy New York investment banker who moonlights as a violent serial killer. The novel was widely banned for its graphic depictions of violence and misogyny, sparking outrage among feminist groups and many bookstores refusing to sell it. However, the 2000 film adaptation, starring Christian Bale, became a cult hit, managing to balance its brutal violence with dark humor and a satirical look at 1980s consumer culture. It's a chilling reminder that sometimes the scariest monsters are the ones hiding behind the most polished facades. 8. The Color Purple, 1985, Alice Walker. Coming in at number 8 is The Color Purple, directed by Steven Spielberg and based on Alice Walker's Pulitzer Prize-winning novel. The book tells the heart-wrenching story of Celie, an African-American woman in the early 20th century South who overcomes abuse, oppression, and separation from her sister to find her voice and reclaim her life. Walker's novel faced challenges and was banned in schools for its depiction of sexual abuse, violence, and racism. Despite the controversy, the film was praised for its powerful performances, especially by Whoopi Goldberg as Celie and Oprah Winfrey as Sophia. While it stirred debate, both the book and the movie have become iconic, shedding light on the experiences of marginalized women in America. 7. Animal Farm, 1954, George Orwell. Number 7 on our list is George Orwell's Animal Farm, a political allegory that uses farm animals to critique the rise of totalitarian regimes, particularly Stalin's Soviet Union. The novel was banned in several countries, including the Soviet Union, due to its anti-communist message. The 1954 animated adaptation was the first full-length British animated film, and though it softened some of the novel's harsher elements, it stayed true to Orwell's central themes. Watching pigs rise to power while chanting "all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others" remains as chilling now as it was back then. 6. Catch-22, 1970, Joseph Heller. At number 6, we have Catch-22, a satirical novel by Joseph Heller that was adapted into a film in 1970. The story follows Captain John Yossarian, a WW-2 bomber pilot trying to maintain his sanity in a world filled with absurd military regulations. The book introduced the term Catch-22 into our everyday vocabulary, representing a no-win situation where the rules contradict themselves. Banned in some U.S. schools for its graphic depictions of war and criticism of authority, Catch-22 was embraced by those who saw it as an anti-war masterpiece. The film, starring Alan Arkin, captures the dark humor of the novel and continues to resonate with anyone who has ever felt trapped by bureaucracy. 5. Lolita, 1997, Vladimir Nabokov. Halfway through the list is Lolita, based on Vladimir Nabokov's infamous novel. Both the book and the films, especially the 1997 version directed by Adrian Lyne, sparked outrage for their portrayal of an inappropriate relationship between a middle-aged man and a 12-year-old girl. The novel was banned in several countries and faced backlash for its controversial subject matter, yet it remains a literary classic due to Nabokov's masterful writing. The 1997 film, starring Jeremy Irons, attempted to navigate the novel's disturbing themes while maintaining a sense of emotional complexity. It's an uncomfortable watch, but one that challenges the viewer to confront society's taboos. 4. Lord of the Flies, 1963. William Golding. Next up is Lord of the Flies, William Golding's chilling novel about a group of boys stranded on a deserted island who slowly descend into savagery. Golding's novel, published in 1954, was banned in several schools for its graphic violence and grim view of human nature. The 1963 film adaptation, directed by Peter Brook, is a raw and unsettling portrayal of what happens when societal norms break down. Watching the boys form their own primitive society, complete with its own power struggles and brutal rituals, is a grim reminder of how thin the veneer of civilization can be. The novel and the film force us to ask, what would we do in their shoes? 3. To Kill a Mockingbird, 1962. Harper Lee in the third spot is To Kill a Mockingbird, a 1962 film adaptation of Harper Lee's novel, which tackles the deep-rooted racial injustices in America's South. The novel follows lawyer Atticus Finch as he defends a black man wrongly accused of raping a white woman, all seen through the eyes of his young daughter, Scout. Despite its critical acclaim, the book has been banned in various schools for its use of racial slurs and its unflinching portrayal of racism. The film, however, starring Gregory Peck in an iconic performance, is celebrated for bringing these hard truths to a broader audience. The story's message of standing up for what's right, even when the odds are stacked against you, remains as powerful today as it was over 60 years ago. 2. The Kite Runner, 2007, Khaled Hosseini. At number 2 is The Kite Runner, a heartbreaking tale of friendship, betrayal, and redemption set against the backdrop of a turbulent Afghanistan. Khaled Hosseini's 2003 novel was banned in parts of the Middle East and even faced challenges in the U.S. for its depictions of child abuse and religious conflict. The 2007 film, directed by Mark Forster, stays true to the emotional weight of the book, focusing on the complex relationship between two boys, Amir and Hassan. The film sparked conversation around issues of war, guilt, and forgiveness. Watching Amir's journey to make amends for past wrongs is an emotional experience that leaves audiences questioning the true cost of redemption. 1984. 1984, George Orwell. And finally, at number 1, we have 1984, George Orwell's dystopian masterpiece. The novel, published in 1949, was banned in countries such as the Soviet Union and heavily censored in others for its depiction of a totalitarian regime that controls everything, including thoughts. The 1984 film adaptation, starring John Hurt as Winston Smith, brings Orwell's terrifying vision of the future to life. With its portrayal of constant surveillance, propaganda, and the erasure of truth, 1984 feels eerily relevant even today. The chilling concept of Big Brother watching your every move has permeated modern culture, serving as a stark warning about the dangers of giving up personal freedoms for the illusion of safety. From the dystopian streets of 1984 to the horrors of Carrie, these films remind us of the power of storytelling. Banned books have a way of pushing boundaries, challenging norms, and sparking debates that transcend the page and the screen. But here's the real question. Do stories become more powerful when someone tries to silence them? Could it be that censorship only strengthens the very ideas it's trying to suppress? If you want more mind-blowing stories like these, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And tell us in the comments, which banned book-turned-movie surprised you the most? Or is there a book that should be on this list but isn't? We're all ears!